Hey, Mayor, we're not going to make 6:30.
Have I ever been on time? Yes.
I'll just follow your lead. How's that sound? We don't have yours yet, apparently.
I see this order, and here it looks like we're doing Andrew.
Let me see.
We had Andrew.
Yeah, don't worry about this order.
Yeah, we will follow this one.
Yeah, we will follow that order.
Les, do you have who's next? Kenny?
What do you mean?
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
That's, you mean Bill Montgomery?
Is that okay? I didn't know.
Yes.
That. Sorry about
Yes.
that.
No. That's
Add him to your.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, just trying to help you out. Thanks.
I appreciate it. No, I really do. I guess I'm about on, except we don't have the proclamations from the legislators yet, right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, that's what Kurt was asking about. We have Lee Huff. Where'd Jen go? We don't have anything for the screen. Oh, yes, we do. It's not here. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Good evening, everyone. My name is Les Presmick, and on behalf of Mayor Lewis, the Gilbert Town Council, and the Town of Gilbert, I want to welcome all of you here this evening. Thank you for coming out to honor our three honorees this evening: Sergeant Andrew Giuliani, Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry, and Sergeant Crystal Reedy, and especially their families for their service and sacrifice on behalf of their country. Now, would you all please stand as American Legion Post 39, the color guard presents the colors.
Detail. Hold. Face. Present. Arms.
At this time, I would like to ask Councilmember Daniels to come forward, please. She will provide the invocation.
Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for the opportunity we have to gather today as a community to give thanks for these three servicemen and women. We're grateful for their sacrifice. We're especially grateful for their families, for their sacrifice, for their courage, and for their love for their family and their country. We pray that Thou would bless all of our servicemen and women and all who serve in uniform, that they will be blessed with Thy guidance and Thy Spirit, that they will know that all is well at home, and that they will have that peace with them. We pray for a blessing on all of our citizens in our community, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now I'd like to ask Teal Reeder to come forward for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That was beautiful. And now I'd like to ask Tristan and Corbin Reedy to come forward and lead us in the pledge.
All right. Hi. All right. So let's now do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Post. Colors. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. One.
You may be seated. I want to start by thanking the Arizona Patriot Guard Riders for their continuing support of Operation Welcome Home. They provide the motorcycle escort for our honorees to Town Hall, and they honor us with their presence by lining the halls and holding the American flags. Thank you, both men and women. And at this time, I would like to ask all active servicemen and women and all of our veterans to please stand, or if you cannot stand, please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you and your service. Thank you. You know, the town of Gilbert has been recognized as far away as by the Department of Defense for its support of its veterans and its veteran employees. Operation Welcome Home represents just one part of that support. We are working to establish the traditions we want people to associate with Gilbert and its small town atmosphere, no matter how large we get. Now I would like to acknowledge the elected officials in this audience, and we have quite a group this evening. I'll start with our two county supervisors, Denny Barney and Steve Chukri. Please stand. Thank you. County Attorney Bill Montgomery. Couple of infiltrators, Mesa Mayor Alex Finner and Mesa Council Member Dennis Kavanaugh. We've had Chandler council members here and other municipalities represented. Chandler had their first Operation Welcome Home ceremony a couple of months ago, and we certainly welcome our very good and close neighbors to the north, Mesa, and we're willing to provide you with whatever help that we can, including we'll even allow the Arizona Patriot Guard Riders to support your ceremonies. How's that sound? As if I had anything to say about that. All right. And I also want to acknowledge our local elected officials. Mayor John Lewis. Vice Mayor Eddie Cook, and our council members, Jen Daniels, you've already seen her, Ben Cooper, Jordan Ray, Victor Peterson. Is Jared here? Jared Taylor. Thank you all for attending. This is truly the largest group of elected officials we've had for one of these, and so thank you. Now, this is our 14th Operation Welcome Home ceremony, and so with these three, that gets our total of honorees to 21. We have honored returning servicemen and women who are coming back and getting out of the service to start their families and their careers, to those who are at the other end of their careers and have served 20 years or more. We even have a few that have thought so much of the work that we're doing here that they've joined the committee. So, you know, we're honoring you tonight. We expect to see you again and again as well. We've actually also honored one Gold Star wife. Her husband, they were Gilbert residents, her husband was killed in action. We honored two servicemen and our first service woman this evening. At this time, I would like to invite Mayor John Lewis to the podium, and at the same time, would our first honoree, Sergeant Andrew Giuliani, and his family members come forward, please.
I was commenting to Mayor Finter from Mesa. This is the finest activity in Gilbert. And so we are so pleased and honored to have 3 to be recognized and their families and those who just stood moments ago. And my assignment is a tough one, to make sure you get the flowers, check. And then, on behalf of the town of Gilbert, a proclamation that we are going to present to Sergeant Giuliani, I have the privilege to read. Whereas the town of Gilbert wishes to acknowledge and honor through Operation Welcome Home those Gilbert residents who have served a tour of duty overseas in the course of their military commitment to the United States of America. And whereas Sergeant Andrew Giuliani, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 5 years in the United States Army, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Giuliani, having completed basic training and advanced training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, assignment to the 819th Engineer Company at Camp Navajo in Belmont, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Giuliani has served his country honorably throughout his service and deployment to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom with the 819th Engineer Company in Regional Command South Zabul Province to provide freedom of movement for ISAF and ANSF forces, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Giuliani has received numerous medals and awards, including the Reserve Component Achievement Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with an M device, Army Service Ribbon, Army Overseas Service Ribbon, NATO Medal, and the Combat Action Badge. And now, therefore, I, John W. Lewis, Mayor of the town of Gilbert, do hereby declare April 17th, 2014 as Operation Welcome Home Sergeant Andrew Giuliani Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. No. You don't get to go. You get to sit. Yeah, we're not done with you. At this time, I would ask Buchanan Davis, who is here on behalf of U.S. Senator Jeff Flake, to come forward with his proclamation.
It is a pleasure to be here again. And Sergeant, the Senator writes, I join with the community of Gilbert and welcome you home. It is with much admiration that I express appreciation for your dedicated service in preserving our freedoms. Your sacrifice and that of your family is greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for your service and welcome home. Signed, Jeff Flake, United States Senator.
Yes, you will get him back. All right. He was kind of looking at me like, you know, do I really get these? And now on behalf of Congressman Matt Salmon, I'd like to ask Lee Huff to come and present his proclamation.
I have a letter prepared by the congressman for you, and looks like he's made a little note for me. Lee, stick to the script. Funny, I guess, hurtful in a way. But for you, Sergeant, he says, after a distinguished record of service to our country, it is with recognition of your dedication and brave sacrifice that I welcome your return to our community. I want you to know that I'm deeply impressed with your service record and the numerous honors and medals that you have been awarded. I also thank your family, who has made tremendous sacrifices in supporting you while you served. I present with you our nation's flag, which was flown over the nation's capital in your honor. I pray God's blessings to be upon you in all your future endeavors. Signed, Congressman Matt Salmon.
Yeah, so you can get photos of especially with the flag. So now you have to smile, Lee.
My dimple is here.
You want me to throw this note away, or do you want to hang
Yeah,
on to it?
please.
Okay. All right. Because the legislature is still in session, I'm going to ask County Supervisor Denny Barney to come forward, and he's going to read the proclamation from our LD 12 and LD 17 legislators, Senate President Andy Biggs, and Speaker of the House Andy Tobin. Supervisor Barney.
I hope you brought a wheelbarrow to take all this stuff home. It's pretty exciting. What a great opportunity to be here. In behalf of the Legislative District 12 delegation, I'm here to read a proclamation. Mr. Montgomery, our county attorney, will read one, and Steve Chukri, another colleague from the board, will read another. So we're honored to be here and to celebrate this great return and be here with you tonight. So in behalf of Speaker of the House Andy Tobin, Senate President Andy Biggs, who is a Gilbert resident, Eddie Farnsworth, and Warren Peterson, House recognition of Sergeant Andrew Giuliani. Whereas the state of Arizona wishes to acknowledge and honor through Operation Welcome Home those Arizona residents who have served a tour of duty overseas in the course of their military commitment to the United States of America. And whereas Sergeant Giuliani, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 5 years in the Arizona Army National Guard, and whereas Sergeant Giuliani, having completed basic training and advanced training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and whereas Sergeant Giuliani has served his country honorably throughout his service and deployment in Afghanistan, and whereas Sergeant Giuliani, now there's a long list, so bear with me here, has received numerous medals and awards, including the Reserve Component Achievement Medal, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with an M device, Army Service Ribbon, Army Overseas Service Ribbon, NATO Medal, and a Combat Action Badge. And whereas the town of Gilbert is proud to extend a warm welcome home to Sergeant Giuliani, honoring him and his family for their commitment and service to the United States military, this great state of Arizona and the United States of America. Therefore, the members of the Arizona House of Representatives hereby recognize Sergeant Andrew Giuliani for his outstanding service in the United States Navy and extend best wishes for his success and happiness in the future, dated this, the 17th day of April, 2014. Congratulations.
Yeah, take it so you can get a photograph. No. Hold it up in front of you. You know, we do this with the Student of the Month Awards too, you know. So hold it up in front of you.
I'm one of those special students.
Yes. And smile and look at those two lovely ladies. No, you're not done yet.
Oh, here we go.
You'd think being a politician, anytime a camera gets close, he'd be right there, right?
Where's his stack of goods? Right there?
All right. Would you like to say a few words? You don't have to. Okay. All right. Now you're dismissed. Here. Thank you. Sergeant Giuliani. At this time, I'd like to call Mayor Lewis back up and ask Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry and his family to come forward.
We have wife Tracy and Aiden and Kiara, is that right?
Yes.
And parents William and Sheila Gadberry. Pleasure to have you here. With Les Pressmick, we make a great team. He's delivering the flowers. And to the Gadberries, with great honor, a proclamation from the town of Gilbert. Whereas the town of Gilbert, and this is the same paragraph that we talked about in our Operation Welcome Home for all three of you. So I'll skip to the second whereas. Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 12 years in both the United States Navy and United States Navy Reserve, and whereas Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry, having completed basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois, and advanced training in Pensacola, Florida, and whereas Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry has served his country honorably through his service in Misawa, Japan, USS Chung-Hoon, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. And whereas Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry has received numerous medals and awards, including the Army Accommodation Medal, the Army Meritorious Unit Award, the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the Air Force Outstanding Unit, Navy Good Conduct Medal, Navy Reserve Meritorious Serval Medal, the National Defense Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, the Iraq Campaign Medal with the Campaign Star, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Navy Sea Service Deployment, Navy and Marine Corps Overseas Service, Armed Forces Reserve Navy, the NATO International Security Assistance Force, the Navy Expert Rifleman, and Navy Expert Pistol, and whereas, in recognition of his service and the support of his family, especially his wife Tracy, and his children Aiden and Kiara have provided while he has been away serving his country. And I'm just going to add, and two wonderful parents. Now, therefore, I, John W. Lewis, Mayor of the Town of Gilbert, do hereby declare Thursday, April 17th, 2014 as Operation Welcome Home, Petty Officer First Class Adam Gadberry Day.
Thank you. Okay. All right. And we start again. Buchanan Davis, would you please come forward on behalf of U.S. Senator Jeff Flake?
Senator writes, Dear Adam, it is an honor to join Gilbert in welcoming you home and recognizing your most worthy accomplishments. I thank you and your family for your dedicated service and sacrifice. Again, welcome home and best wishes for the future. Signed, Jeff Flake.
And I'll ask Lee Huff to come forward again on behalf of Congressman Matt Salmon. Say no, huh?
This one simply says, don't make a mistake. He's a real confidence builder, I got to tell you. From your congressman. Dear Petty Officer First Class Gadberry, after a distinguished record of service to our country, it is with recognition of your dedication and great sacrifice that I welcome your return to our community. I want you to know that I'm deeply impressed with your service record and the numerous honors and medals that have been awarded you. I also thank your family, who has made tremendous sacrifices in supporting you while you served. I present you with the nation's flag, which has been flown over the nation's capital in your honor. I pray God's blessings to be upon you in all your future endeavors. Warmest regards, Congressman Matt Salmon. And I just want these two kids to know up here, you just got one cool dad. Do you know that?
And now I'd like to ask Supervisor Chukri to come up and read the legislative proclamation.
Good evening. This is again from Andy Tobin, the Speaker of the House, as well as Senate President Andy Biggs, Eddie Farnsworth, and Warren Peterson. And it's a House recognition of Petty Officer First Class Adam R. Gadberry. And it reads, whereas the state of Arizona wishes to acknowledge and honor through Operation Welcome Home those Arizona residents who have served a tour of duty overseas in the course of their military commitment to the United States of America. And whereas Petty Officer Gadberry, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served more than 12 years in the United States Navy, and whereas Petty Officer Gadberry has served his country honorably through his service and deployment at various locations, including Misawa, Japan, USS Changhoon, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan, and of course, the many accolades Mayor Smith just mentioned in his remarks. Mayor Smith, geez, Mayor Lewis. I got to get my cities right. This is Gilbert. I apologize. The many accolades that Mayor Lewis just mentioned to you. And whereas the town of Gilbert is proud to extend a warm welcome home to Petty Officer Gadberry, honoring him and his family for their commitment and service to the United States military, this great state of Arizona and the United States of America, and therefore the members of the Arizona House of Representatives hereby recognize Petty Officer Adam R. Gadberry for his outstanding service in the United States, I think it says Army here, but the United States Navy. We're not going to make that mistake, and extend best wishes for success and happiness in the future. Congrats.
Guess I like to make a speech, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe not a speech. I said a
no.
few words.
I'll put the script away.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who came out today. This is just amazing, really. I do. Wow. I do see some fellow people over here in Navy uniforms. Looking good, gentlemen. Keep it up. Quite honestly, when I was told that I'd be receiving these awards today, I believe I even expressed it in a meeting that my biggest concern was looking at past awardees and things of that, and quite honestly wondering, do I deserve this much? I know it's hard to think of, but after seeing just the outpour of thanks from the community, Freedom Riders, thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I got a lot of family up in here, actually. I got to say, I can't be happier about this. Thank you so much, but it would mean absolutely nothing if I didn't have my family to stand behind me on all this. Thank you.
And Adam just summed up probably the biggest stumbling block that the Operation Welcome Home Committee has had, and that's to get folks to stand up and want to be recognized, because time and time again we hear the same thing. It's not about me, it's about my team. You know, I don't want to be recognized. Well, I said it earlier. One of the things that we've misplaced in this country is the tradition of honoring our veterans and our servicemen and women. And through Operation Welcome Home, and our Veterans Day and Memorial Day and the high schools and all of that, we're trying to recapture some of that here in the town of Gilbert, and I know other cities like Mesa, they have a Veterans Day parade. We're trying to rebuild that. You know, it's something that, I don't want to say we lost, we just misplaced. So Adam, thank you for your comments. And now we come to our third honoree. I'll ask Mayor Lewis, not Mayor Smith, not Mayor Finter, our own Mayor Lewis. I know who butters my bread. And Sergeant Crystal Reedy and her family to come forward, please.
Crystal, let's see if I have this right. Sons, Tristan? Raise that hand. And Corbin and Easton. And we also recognize Sergeant Mario Aguirre as a family member, and good to have you here too. So the flowers have been delivered. The proclamation reads, whereas Sergeant Crystal Reedy, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 17 years in the United States Army National Guard, and whereas Sergeant Crystal Reedy, having completed basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, and having completed advanced training in Fort Benning, Georgia, and whereas Sergeant Crystal Reedy has served her country honorably through her service and deployments in Central Command, Tampa, Florida, and Joint Base Balad, Iraq, and whereas Sergeant Crystal Reedy has received numerous medals and awards, including the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Iraq Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, the Armed Forces Reserve Medal with an M device, the Army Service Ribbon, the Army Overseas Service Ribbon, and Army Reserve Component Overseas Training Ribbon. And whereas in recognition of her service and the support of her family, especially those 3 boys, have provided while she has been away serving her country. Now I therefore, John W. Lewis, Mayor of the town of Gilbert, do hereby declare Tuesday, April 17th, 2014 as Operation Welcome Home Sergeant Crystal Reedy Day. To the Reedy family, thank you.
You don't have to. All right. Again, I would like to invite Buchanan Davis up to make the presentation on behalf of U.S. Senator Flake. And while he's coming up, we have had support from then Congressman Flake since we have started this. So he gets a promotion. He doesn't forget about his roots. He continues to honor our honorees. Thank you, Buchanan.
And it has been indeed a privilege to be a part of this. Real quick, Sergeant, I get the letters after they're signed by the senator, and I do a Google check just to make sure everything's spelled right and whatnot. And several videos popped up wishing your kids well while you're away in Iraq, I believe, and I watched all of them, and it really touched me. And so I want to thank you for making my day and inspired me. The senator writes, "Dear Crystal, I join with the community of Gilbert in thanking you for your dedicated service in preserving our freedoms. Your sacrifice and that of your family is appreciated. It is an honor to be among the many in recognizing you, and I want to welcome you home. Again, thank you and best wishes for the future." Signed, Jeff Flake, United States Senator.
And once again, Lee Huff, would you please come forward? I can hardly wait to see what this third note says.
Yeah, neither can I.
Just remember, I have the microphone last.
As it turns out, there is another note. Lee, you're doing a great job. And then there's this word, psych. Another stupid note. Sergeant Reedy, another awesome mom. That's just great. From your congressman, dear Sergeant Reedy, after a distinguished record of service to our country, it is with recognition of your dedication and sacrifice that I welcome your return to our community. I want you to know that I'm deeply impressed with your service record and the numerous honors and medals that you have been awarded. I also thank your family, who has made tremendous sacrifices in supporting you while you served. I present you with our nation's flag, which has flown over the nation's capital in your honor. I pray God's blessing to be upon you in all your future endeavors. Signed, Matt Salmon, Member of Congress.
Here. And now I'd like to ask County Attorney Bill Montgomery to come up and read the proclamation from our legislative representatives.
A couple quick points. First, I want to thank Chairman Barney for sharing the wealth and giving me a chance to read this. Secondly, it's events like this that make me so proud to be a resident of Gilbert for how we take care of our fellow Gilbert residents. So Mayor Lewis, members of the council and of the committee, thank you very much. And third, I get to read this proclamation to a member of our team at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Sergeant Reedy is also in our Community Affairs Bureau and does a fantastic job representing the office throughout Maricopa County. Now, on behalf of our delegation and Speaker of the House, Andy Tobin, President of the Senate, Andy Biggs, and our representatives, Eddie Farnsworth and Warren Peterson, have a House recognition of Sergeant Crystal Reedy. Whereas the state of Arizona wishes to acknowledge and honor through Operation Welcome Home those Arizona residents who have served a tour of duty overseas in the course of their military commitment to the United States of America. And whereas Sergeant Reedy, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 15 years in the Arizona Army National Guard, and whereas Sergeant Reedy has served her country honorably throughout her service and deployment at various locations, including Central Command in Tampa, Florida, and Joint Base Balad, Iraq, and whereas Sergeant Reedy has received numerous medals and awards previously listed by Mayor Lewis, and whereas in recognition of her service and the support her family, especially her children Tristan, Corbin, and Easton, have provided while she has been away serving her country, and whereas the town of Gilbert is proud to extend a warm welcome home to Sergeant Reedy, honoring her and her family for their commitment and service to the United States military, this great state of Arizona, and the United States of America. Therefore, the members of the Arizona House of Representatives hereby recognize Sergeant Crystal Reedy for her outstanding service in the United States National Guard and extend best wishes for her success and happiness in the future, dated the 17th day of April, 2014.
I just wanted to take a few minutes, or a few seconds.
Few minutes are okay.
Truly to thank the town of Gilbert, because this is, I love Gilbert. I've raised my family here, and it is the best city in Arizona. And I'm an Arizona girl, so I really thank you all for doing this. I also want to thank the Patriot Guards, because they have met, I think, every soldier at that airport, and they've brought me home twice and just provide us with so much honor and dignity. So thank you all for what you do. You've also been at so many fallen soldier funerals, one this week, that we recognize you from. So thank you all for what you do. Mr. Montgomery brought up that, I work for the county attorney, and I just want to thank him for his support. Right now, hiring soldiers is a big issue, and I was very blessed to come back from my deployment to the county with open arms and to never have an issue. My supervisor is here supporting me, and when I tell her, oh, it's drill weekend, I can't do that, she understands, and they accommodate and work hard for me, so I appreciate that so much. My commander is here from the 123rd MPAD, and she's amazing. She's one of the greatest leaders, so I just thank you for coming out here. And then, of course, my family. Mario has taught me how to be a soldier. He's the one that's making sure I look the best when I go out, fixing my uniform. And I appreciate all, helping me rise and be a better soldier. And then to my boys, my Tristan, Corbin, and Easton, I just thank you all. I do this because I want you to be proud of me, everything I've done. And I know that no one has suffered more than you two. I've been gone so much, and I've missed so many things, and I just hope that you understand it was for you. And every day you make me so proud, and I love you very much. And that's all.
I warned Mayor Finner and Councilmember Kavanaugh that since they had never been to one of these, that I hope they brought their tissue. Was I right? And I told Sergeant Reedy that, you know, my comments to her, just as I brought her up, were that we have made grown servicemen cry. So if it was okay if she shed a tear, I think she brought many tears to us. Thank you very much. And so we're almost at the end of our program. I want to direct you to the reverse side of our program. These are the groups and individuals that have contributed their time, talents, and means to make this event happen. I want to thank Jet Limo in Phoenix for providing transportation not only for the families this evening, for the motorcade and to and from Dragon Walk, the restaurant where they will be having dinner later this evening. I want to thank them. They have stepped up time and time again to provide limousine service for our honorees. I don't know how many of you noticed, we now have a red carpet that our honorees and the Patriot Guards get to walk on as they enter Town Hall. That's compliments of the Floor Store. And so we will see that red carpet again. All right, Rita's Frozen Custard, Frankie D's Salon, I mentioned Dragon Walk, Gilbert Historical Museum. The boxes that you saw me giving to each of the families are from Elizabeth's Moments of Joy. I assume that you won't let them eat all of those goodies tonight. All right? Buca de Beppo, the Busing Corporation, they are a local heavy civil construction company, and in those bags there are tickets to Diamondback games for each of the honorees and their family. I want to thank the American Legion Post 39 and the Arizona Patriot Guard Riders once again. Thank you. Everything that Sergeant Reedy said goes double for all of us. I want to thank the Town of Gilbert staff for everything they do behind the scenes, from setting up the tables, the PA system. We get a video done of every one of our ceremonies. A lot of support from the town. Thank you, Mayor Lewis, Town Council, for the support that you provide us. I also want to thank the Gilbert Small Business Alliance and the entire Operation Welcome Home Committee. They give me the honor of standing up and emceeing this presentation, but without all the hard work and the dedication of our committee members, this would never happen. So I'd like to give them a round of applause as well. And finally, if you are a Gilbert business who would like to be involved in Operation Welcome Home, I have named the ones that are represented here this evening in the bags that I've passed out, in the boxes, and the services that are being provided to our honorees. We have a form on the table, or you can go to our website, and we are looking for all kinds of services, even things like oil changes, tax returns, because remember, the families are still at home, especially in the case of servicemen that are overseas. You know, their wives and family need the sort of day-to-day things that we really don't think about when we think about supporting our servicemen and women. So whatever you're willing to give, we will find a use for. We don't have our next Operation Welcome Home ceremony yet scheduled. You heard me talk about our biggest single problem is getting people to step forward and wanting to be honored like we've done the 3 tonight and the 18 before them. So if you have a loved one, your neighbor, or a friend who is a Gilbert resident and is returning from an overseas deployment, or within the last couple of years has returned, please pick up a form on the table by the back door, or go to our website or the town's website, and please fill those out. It's the only way that we know who's out there and who we need to honor. So now at this time, I would ask that you please rise for the retiring of the colors. We have a special group of young men here this evening. They are from the Glendale Sea Cadets. It's an organization much like ROTC, but it's not specific to an individual high school. It's more of a region-wide. And this is the first time we have about a half a dozen of the Sea Cadets represented, and their Sea Cadet mother, the CO's wife. They came out, a couple of them all the way from Surprise. And if you don't know where Surprise is, it's about 50 miles on the other side of the valley. All right? So at this point, would you please come forward and retire the colors?
Mark, time. Mark. Hold. Left face. And salute. Ready, two. Retrieve. Colors. Right. Face. Forward. Mark.
If any of you would like to talk with the families and the honorees, they will be out by our 9/11 memorial after the ceremony. We do have refreshments outside as well. The one last invitation I would like to provide to all of you is you don't need to leave. The folks that you're going to be walking through in order to get out this evening, once a month the Gilbert Town Council recognizes and honors Students of the Month from all of our elementary schools, charter schools, and junior highs and high schools. So for the next half an hour, the same thing will be happening, but to those who range in age from 6 or 7 up to 18. So if you'd like to stay and do it one more time, I'd welcome you to do that. And if you really want a way to top off your evening, there's a town council meeting at 7 o'clock, and that's a ball of fun. So at this time, I'd ask the Patriot Guard riders to please come forward and escort our honorees out. Thank you all for attending. Hey, thanks for coming out, Bill. Yeah, this worked out just perfect. Hey, it's good to see you.